This is the SpongeBob character tier list. As you can see, there's an S for SpongeBob. Actually, it's an S for S tier. If you don't know how my tier list works, basically S tier goes for all characters across all cartoons, movies, video games, books, comic books, everything like that. So it's very hard to get into S tier. This close is just they came that close to being an S tier, and then the rest kind of explains itself. Doo Doo Butter, absolute worst. C is kind of what I say is an average character across everything. Anyways, let's get into it. Barnacle Boy, absolute great dig on Robin, the Robin character from Batman, but I'm just gonna have to go with an average character overall. He does have some good comedic relief and serves as a good Squidward S type to Mermaid Man's rest of SpongeBob type shenanigans in there. Gary coming in as one of the most noticeable pets in any show. I'm going to put him at B tier. He's pretty solid. SpongeBob is a pretty bad character. I'm going to put him in Doo Doo Butter. He's just kind of annoying and no one really likes him. But after getting that little jokes to the side, he's going in S for SpongeBob because one, he's super funny. Yes, I know the newer show isn't as good. I'm really talking about from my experience all the way up until the original SpongeBob movie, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. He is an absolute comedy icon. He's also a symbol for optimism, just how to be kind and nice and hopeful in every situation. So I'm going to put him in S tier. The Alaskan bullworm is one of the funniest jokes on the entire show. And I think it really carries over well today, even when you have stuff like Dune coming out, people still make references to the Alaskan bullworm and know what you're talking about. The memes are still everywhere, so I'm going to put it in B. Yes, some people might think I'm crazy for putting it close to Gary, but it's a great one-off joke. This is the lady that sold SpongeBob that one pet, I believe, or maybe she's just the lady that comes and like shuts down the Krusty Krab. You have to remember there's a ton of characters on here. The ones that I couldn't remember at all, kind of towards the bottom, but I do remember this lady, and I'm gonna put her at D. She really annoyed me when I was a kid. I just remember she did something diabolical. Mr. Krabs' mom is also going in D tier. She does absolutely nothing. She dates Plankton's robot in that one episode, and that's basically it. The guy that bullied SpongeBob, just for bullying SpongeBob, you're going in doo doo butter. It does have a decent joke when he comes back later and he's like tiny, and I get the reference of like, oh, the guy that I went to high school with, he was so big back, he's so big and bad back then, but now he's not. I can't remember. It's SpongeBob's cousin. I know you guys are gonna flame me for. Anyways, back to it. We have Bubble Bass. Bubble Bass was an absolute freaking menace to SpongeBob when he freaking hid the pickles under his tongue from the Krabby Patty. For doing that to SpongeBob, you're gonna have to go and see because I don't think he's an absolutely terrible villain. Now, Spot was in some of the newer episodes of SpongeBob, and he was just absolutely annoying. He was one of Plankton's pets, but he was kind of cute, so I'm just gonna put him in D. He's not doo doo butter. This is one of SpongeBob's friends, or maybe it's his bubble friend's child's dad. I can't remember. For not being able to remember, I'm just gonna put him in D. I just remember being there. This looks like the Tattletale Strangler to me. Going to go in B along with the Alaskan Bullworm. Great episode. This guy I remember being in the show, but I don't remember absolutely anything about him. I just remember seeing his face. For that, he's going in D. Absolutely couldn't stand this guy when he's making all the fake burgers, the Krusty Krab, and turning everything super weird. And Squidward trying to help get SpongeBob's help, which just means that this guy's a menace. I thought this was Karen, but it's not. So I don't know who that is. So I can't rank them. That's just not fair. So putting them down below. This guy was just really, really annoying. Not definitely, yeah, just putting in doo doo butter. I can't remember him, but I just remember him being annoying in whatever episode he's in. Patricia is Patrick's hot sister, and for being so hot, I'm gonna have to put as an average character because although she lacks a lot of character depth, she is super attractive, and I think that's pretty cool. This sea lion that gets super tan is a thorn in SpongeBob's side. In the episode that he's in, SpongeBob really likes him. I think he was a jerk to him. Now, if I'm wrong about this, and I don't know their names, you can tell me. But I'm gonna put him in D as well. The Flying Dutchman is one of the great characters of SpongeBob. I'm gonna have to put him in A. Almost every single episode that he's in, it's phenomenal. He was in some of the early episodes of SpongeBob. He's in some of the later episodes of SpongeBob, and all of them are great. When he has that sock monkey, I think that's absolutely hilarious when he can tie all those knots and stuff. And then that one episode where it's just like for no reason, he's just blending up SpongeBob and Patrick in the blender to make the smoothie is great. Dennis, also a phenomenal character. I'm tempted to put him in this close because of my fondness for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, but I'm going to leave him in A for now. The dirty bubble, I think, is the best fart joke in anything, and so I'm gonna put him in A. No, I'm gonna put him in B. I'm gonna put him down there with Gary, because the whole joke is that he's a fart. Look at him. That is a fart bubble. That's why they call him the dirty bubble. You can't tell me that I'm wrong about that. So I'm gonna put him in B tier. I remember this guy being in the show. I remember seeing him, and I know he's a loser. Freaking Doodlebob is a this close character. Doodlebob is one of the best jokes in the show. He's got some of the best memes with him. Mignoy Mignoy. I know if you're my generation, 21 years old to like 30 years old, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Absolutely hilarious. Doodle Bob is going right there. This guy, freaking remember seeing him, don't remember anything about him, which is going to give me a doo-doo butter. This guy, same thing. Don't remember anything about him. If I'm hating your favorite characters, please let me know in the comments below. But I have the perfect list, so I don't know what you're going to get mad at. Oh, dang, what was this guy's name? The freaking bully that punches SpongeBob and he just laughs. Oh, was it Flats? I don't remember, but he was a good character as well. He's going in B tier. Great episode with him. The My Leg guy is one of the best running jokes in all of just shows in general. If you say My Leg, a lot of people are going to know what you're talking about without even knowing that it's from SpongeBob. This karate guy was a freaking loser bum. It was such a letdown for the karate characters in SpongeBob after Sandy had built it up for so long. I remember seeing this guy, don't remember anything about him, going in doo-doo butter for not being memorable at all. This gorilla right here is super memorable, but I'm going to have to put him in C tier. It is a funny joke, but it also kind of scared me as a kid, which isn't cool. SpongeBob, why were you going to do that to me? In the episode that he is, SpongeBob broke his butt and was just trying to stay inside, and then you got to scare me like that, not wanting to go outside ever again. Karen 2.0, yeah, I know I'm skipping some people here, but I don't really care. This is my list, so you're just going to have to deal with it. Karen 2.0 was decent at best. I'm just gonna put her in D. She's not as great as Karen, and I don't really think it served any purpose other than being a cheap gimmick to get another SpongeBob episode. But Karen herself is going to go in B tier. I think it's funny that Plankton, being an evil mad scientist, has a computer wife. That would make sense because one, he is a loser, so he couldn't get an actual girlfriend and had to build one, and two, it shows you that he's an evil mad scientist supervillain. So I think she complements Plankton very, very well. This Viking guy, I'm going to go in D because I do remember the Viking episode, but I don't remember anything about it, if that makes sense. Mrs. Puff is going to go into A tier. Everybody remembers Big Fat Meanie. Everybody feels bad for Mrs. Puff that SpongeBob is in her class. I know a lot of teachers that have a lot of these experiences with just terrible students like SpongeBob, and then when Patrick comes in and thinks it's a Spanish class, you have students she is a great character. This guy, when Squidward gets turned into that rock monster and he goes to the concert at the end, I like that episode. Can't remember his name. I'm not gonna put him in C just because I don't actually. You know what? I'll put him in C because I don't think he's a bad character. I think it's a good joke. Kenny the cat was an absolute letdown. I think this is when I really stopped watching SpongeBob, when I was hyped up for this episode and it ended up being terrible. So I'm gonna put Kenny the cat down here in doo-doo butter. Absolutely terrible. The hand that uses SpongeBob sometimes to go in the toilet, I think that's just funny that it's a live action hand, but it does nothing. So I'm going to put it in D. Patrick Star is probably the best dumb funny character in any show of all time. I think I can stand by that and die on that hill. He is going into S tier. Absolutely hilarious. And in my personal opinion, he is the best dumb funny character in any show. SpongeBob's grandma gives him cookies all the time and kisses, so she's going to go and C. Other than that, she doesn't really do anything, but he's fine. Freaking Kevin, I'm so tempted to put him into B for being a good joke, but the joke isn't throughout the entire episode, but that's where we get the great joke of Hi Kevin. He's going into C as an average character throughout all comic books, video games, everything compared to everyone else. This freaking dolphin was a menace. I don't remember what episode he was in. I think it was a special. I don't think it was the Atlantis episode. Maybe it was, or maybe it was the Big Wave episode. I can't remember. He was in one of the specials. And I don't like him, but he wasn't terrible, so I'm gonna put him there. Here's another one of the freaking karate people. When SpongeBob and Sandy have to go through all those karate levels, basically just leveling up, like it was the Raid Redemption or something like that. I think he was also let down, so I'm just gonna put him right here next to his freaking other karate friend. Plankton, I can't remember this Plankton's mom or grandma, but she was a freaking menace to Plankton, which deserves something, but not really anything. Mr. Krabs' father or grandfather, I can't remember. I think it's his father, and he's also a pirate and a bigger cheapskate than Mr. Krabs, so that earns some credibility here. So I'm gonna put him in C. This thing was in one of the horror type episodes that came around Halloween time. Was like a witch, and they really judged her, and then she curses the Krusty Krab. And I think something actually does happen. I think it might have been a coincidence in the end. She's going to go into D tier. She doesn't really do anything. She's not really an average character, just a one-off type thing. This guy, freaking, I hate this guy. The guy that was the fry cook before SpongeBob. Freaking made SpongeBob feel so bad about himself. I hate this guy. One of the worst characters in the show. I remember this guy being in it so forgettable that he's going into doo-doo butter. Or same with this guy. I think this is either freaking King Neptune's in the SpongeBob movie, and I can't remember if that's Poseidon or King Neptune, but don't get mad at me if I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've really watched the SpongeBob and gotten into the lore, but I think this is King Neptune, and if it's King Neptune, then I'm going to have to go with him being into a B tier character because he's a recurring character throughout the show. He's got some specials, and he's also in the SpongeBob movie, and a pretty funny comic relief there. Larry the Lobster is pretty recognizable, so I'm going to put him I'm gonna put him into B because everybody knows Larry the Lobster. I feel like most kids, when you're young, you want to live up to be Larry the Lobster because he's basically Arnold Schwarzenegger as a SpongeBob character. Spatula, he was a jerk to SpongeBob, going in B tier. The Atlanteans, this was a special. I'm gonna put the Atlanteans in D tier though because they don't really do anything. Man Ray, freaking absolute great riff and dig at Black Manta. He's going into B tier. He has some absolutely funny moments. I'm going to put him right next to the Dirty Bubble. Absolutely great character here. The girl that likes chocolate, going into C. Everybody knows her. If you've seen that episode, pretty memorable. Mermaid Man, I mean, what can I say? This is literally like SpongeBob just straight making fun of Aquaman right here, and it's freaking phenomenal. Going into B tier, just right above freaking Barnacle Boy. Sorry, my brain is freaking too late for me to be doing this, but I just was like, hey, it's a great idea. Just let me do this at 12 o'clock at night for no reason. Cindy, freaking one of my childhood crushes, freaking along with so many other kids my age, going into B tier. I think this is looking like a freaking solid B tier right here, A tier. Everything is freaking really lining up as it needs to be. Mr. Krabs, when you think of someone that is an absolute cheapskate, I guarantee you think of Mr. Krabs. I guarantee you've used him in some group project. You put him on a PowerPoint when you're talking about money. Even just saying money comes to Mr. Krabs. He is obsessed with money. He's going to S tier. He is the perfect personification of greed in the show. Mr. Krabs is definitely S tier. I remember this thing. It was a funny joke, so I'm going to put it in D because it's not the worst thing ever, but didn't really have any impact on the show. Sandy Cheeks, I'm very tempted to put into A. I think she is better than Doodle Bob. I think she's recognizable. Yeah, I'm gonna put Sandy Cheeks into S tier just because she is just too iconic not to throw in there. Everybody knows her if you watch SpongeBob. Plankton is one of the best cartoon show villains of all time. In the SpongeBob movie, his Plan Z is hilarious. He's also super funny. Straight going into S. Then I just need to round it out with the freaking absolute, what could be the best character in SpongeBob overall. I don't know where he is. I bet you guys know who I'm talking about. It's how is he not freaking Squidward? This man, freaking everyone can relate to Squidward. Everyone's had a sucky job. Everyone's had bad neighbors. Everyone's had bad experiences in school when he had to go back to boating school and then SpongeBob in his class. Everyone's had unfortunate situations where they can see themselves. And Squidward going in S tier. What a brilliant character Squidward is. Overall, this guy that freaking is in the no, is he in the Wig episode? No, he like SpongeBob wins a guitar or something. I remember this guy. Just because I remember him, I'm gonna put him in C. I know it doesn't make any sense, but I genuinely like that. This might be a hot take here, but the freaking chimps. I think the chimps are actually good post the SpongeBob SquarePants movie episode. That's Mr. Professor Dr. Patrick to you is a great joke. I think they serve as a great juxtaposition to everything SpongeBob and Patrick and Sandy have going on. I'm gonna put them into C tier. I think they're average characters. SpongeBob parents don't really do much, so I'm unfortunately gonna have to put them in D tier. They're there and you can recognize them. This guy was freaking super annoying. SpongeBob's cousin, he even made SpongeBob get mad at him, which is a tough task. Going into D tier, this horse was a pretty funny episode at the end when Patrick is walking into that one place and has the wood on his head and can't fit through the door. So I'm gonna put it into C tier. The one kid thinks it's an animatronic, puts a quarter in it, and that has that funny joke where it kicks them and they literally blow up. Is this not the hold up? Who is this guy? I know I've seen the fish before, but I can't remember. I'm gonna get some hate for that. But yeah, that's going into and D to D. The mailman, I'm putting right there. These are both Old Man Jenkins. I swear both of them are Old Man Jenkins. And for that, I'm putting into C, both of them. Patchy the pirate is going into B tier. It's pretty cool when you get to see him, and it's has that like great animation and breaking the fourth wall type stuff going on. I like Patchy the pirate enough to put him into A tier. This guy is at the salty spittoon that doesn't let SpongeBob get in there when he thinks he's tough enough. Going into D, just let my man SpongeBob in. Pearl is going into B tier. She's pretty recognizable, but I don't think she's as good as any of these AT characters whatsoever. These people that think they're Patrick's parents, but they're actually not, that's a freaking hilarious joke. They are going into C. I actually like that episode a decent amount. It's just funny concept overall. The chocolate guy is so iconic. He is going into C. This guy was in the SpongeBob movie and he reappears a decent amount. And now that I'm thinking about it, he's the one reporter from Bikini Bottom, but where's the fish head from Bikini Bottom? Anyways, that guy's going into C. This little bubble friend, the friend bubble of SpongeBob, is going into C. It was a pretty decent episode. The Potty the Parrot, I think that's his name. Um, Yeah, it's just like a worse version of Patchy the Pirate. Although he's mean to him, I'll put him in C. I'm trying to look around here to see if I know any of these other characters. This guy, the freaking sergeant, um, the episode with him was okay. I'm just gonna put him in D. But there's definitely the shark sergeant in here somewhere. I know he was in there. Yes, this guy, freaking absolute brilliant episode. Thinks SpongeBob's too crazy to even teach him. Freaking going into C. The voice acting from him is absolutely phenomenal. I'm trying to look at the other characters. I remember this guy being in there. I'm just gonna put him in D because he looks like Jason Voorhees, which Jason is a freaking S tier character. I'm sorry, but that's just it's my list, so that's how it's gonna work. This guy, freaking King Neptune's son, absolute freaking menace. In that special that he's in, I'm gonna put him in D tier because he is a menace. Actually, you know what? He's pretty good at being a menace. I'll go into C tier. He's an average menace character, absolute jerk of a character as a teen. And Squilliam Fancyson. This is when you think of freaking rich scumbags, it is Squilliam Fancyson. Nothing like special enough to get him up here, but if you watch SpongeBob enough, you know he is the average. I hate that guy because he's a rich know-it-all freaking loser. And I think that's gonna probably round it out for my SpongeBob tier list. I'm looking at these other characters. I remember Rich SpongeBob. I'm just gonna put him in doo doo butter because he was a loser SpongeBob. It was a good episode, but no one wants to see SpongeBob like that. And yeah, I think that's all the characters that I can remember. I think I remember this guy a little bit, but not enough to actually rank him. Oh, this freaking rabbit thing. I remember watching that episode with one of my little cousins one time. Garbage, freaking filthy, nasty. What is that thing? Get out of here. This should be below doo doo butter. But yeah, anyways, there's my SpongeBob tier list ranking, character tier list. And if you want to see some of my other tier lists, please go here. I have phenomenal character tier lists, one of my favorite things to do. And may God bless your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.